Where you at, Berto?
Alright, today we're reacting to the ultimate disturbing and vile anime fans, Iceberg. This is a different video on the channel, man, but it caught my attention because as a fellow anime connoisseur myself, I know how bad and crazy we can get when it comes to debating some anime. And I'm gonna go ahead and piss y'all off right off the start of the video. We got the big three. Naruto, Bleach, One Piece. In my personal opinion, Bleach is the #1 out of the big three. Now, a lot of y'all are gonna be like, hey, it's One Piece and they got Naruto. Okay, yes, goated anime. But when you really think about it, if Bleach didn't take a hiatus, bro, and was running parallel with One Piece and Naruto for the last however many years, Bleach low-key was cooking the whole time, gang. And that's not to say Naruto wasn't doing his thing. That's not to say One Piece wasn't doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? But come on, man. Bleach was really up there. And when Bleach came back and come on. Have y'all been tapped into 1,000-year Blood War? Peak cinema. Y'all lucky we had to take a break and come back and pop out on y'all, man. Argue with your mama in the comment section. If you want to box about it, drop your low. I'll pull up. And that's how we get down about our anime. So I know this video is about to have some crazy shit because niggas be crashing about this anime shit, boy. I already know what it is. Love y'all, let's get right to the video. Where you at, family? I already know, so I'm gonna lose some people saying the bullshit I just said, but it's facts though.
Otakus typically refer to people who are overly obsessed with anime, manga, and just Japanese culture in general. Most of them live out their otaku lifestyle by going to conventions and buying body pillows, which doesn't hurt anybody, except if you happen to smell them. But some otakus have become a little too obsessed to the point that they commit vile acts. And trust me, it gets crazy.
Our young generation is clearly lost.
Just imagine for once that you're a pretty smart student who has so far lived a pretty ordinary life. One day in class, you just happen to find a book that just falls out of the sky. When you go to pick it up, you realize that it isn't Harry Potter, which you could have sold on Craigslist.
Is this nigga explaining the Death Note plot?
But something else. A book that is able to the person whose name is written in it. Now imagine you're also a hidden genius psychopath who decides to use this book to cleanse the world of all criminals. And because of all these sudden deaths of bad people, you also build a small fan base of people who like what you're doing and call you Kira. That is the plot of Death Note, the second most popular anime ever. Light Yagami.
I didn't know it was the second most popular anime ever though. Death Note's a great anime though, bro. That is a good ass anime. It's so good I might actually start watching it again. I need a refresher on that one.
aka Kira plays the psychopathic dude on his murder spree while trying not to get caught. Now there are tons of people obsessed with this anime and Light Yaga. For some reason, people just really like the whole psychopath, genius type of character. At around 6 p.m. on September 28, 2007, two hikers find a human body and two legs in a park in Belgium. There's nothing else on their body. No personal items or anything that would identify him or the but two notes were found nearby with the message saying "Watashi wa Kira desu," which roughly translates to "I am Kira." Shit's
oh my god. Get a life, bro.
Crazy. A real dead person next to a Death Note reference. That was not the only mention of anime or Japan though. Once the police arrived, they also discovered a trail left by the killers in the form of a 160-foot line of rice that led to a symbol that is supposed to be something in Japanese. Not sure what it's supposed to mean though, I can't lie. Now the police had no proper leads at all. The detectives concluded that the body was either a few days old when found or had been stored in some sort of freezer. The thighs and his sack were cut with almost surgical precision, and the only thing that they could identify was the fact that it was a Caucasian guy between 20 and 30 years old. There was no missing person matching that description.
So did this happen in the States?
Was some jogger who said that she saw some blonde man lying down in the area where the body was discovered. This broke the media, and so there were a lot of speculations that the police was just throwing around, such as it being a prank by medical students.
Why didn't I hear about this? This happened in the States? What the hell?
Surgical precision, and the date of the discovery matched the beginning of the school year. The University of Brussels argued though that it would be almost impossible for a whole body to just disappear without anybody noticing, so that wasn't a good lead. Imagine you could just walk in there, take a body, and nobody would notice. wouldn't seem like a very safe university. Other people thought it might be the work of a psychopath serial killer that was active between 1996 and 1997, the so-called Butcher of Mons, where 5 women were found in garbage bags without the killer ever being identified. It got really crazy. Like, listen to this. The location of the victim was very close to the highest point of Brussels. Possibly a symbolic location since Kira acts as a god of death in the manga. That was out of the actual wiki of the case.
One thing about these psychopath killers that be doing shit like this, sometimes they ass be getting too damn creative, boy. It's like you want to get caught. It's like that's the part of the thrill for them. It's like, all right, I'm gonna catch this body. I'm gonna do a bunch of bullshit, but then I'm gonna leave clues. They're like the Riddler from Batman. Like, yo, I'm dead ass trying to get caught, but at the same time leaving you clues so then you can't catch me. Hold on. That's a different level of psychopathic.
Might as well just say that Kira got reincarnated into this world. On November 24th, the police announced that they reached a dead end on the 2-month-old case. And the media was low-key geeked. A murder that nobody could solve, referring to Death Note. And they just wouldn't find any conclusion to the case. Until 3 entire years later, around September of 2010, the police managed to arrest 4 suspects linked to this case. 3 people for the actual and 1 person for failing to provide assistance to a person in danger. It turns out that the deceased person actually lived with multiple of the at the time of the disappearance.
Wow.
An argument broke out between them and the victim refused to leave the apartment when
I gave these niggas too much credit. These niggas got in an argument over 2K.
Yo, real quick, if you like making money, I need you to watch this part of the video. If you don't like making money, then go ahead and skip it, but that really should be none of y'all. I know you guys have been seeing me promote this new app called Free Cash, and the big talk of the town is
Is this a scam, Berto? What is this?
well, look at this guy and this guy. All people from our community that are making money through the Free Cash app. The link is in the description. Even one person from my boy Astro Dior's community made $1,000 using the Free Cash app. I know it sounds crazy, but yes, you can make free money while playing games on your phone. But let me break this down in a very clear way for you guys so you know exactly what's going on. When you sign up for Free Cash using the link in my description, once you're in, you're gonna see a list of games pop up. You download them, you play them, you beat the levels, get to the certain requirements that they tell you to hit. And once you get there, you're gonna get some credits sent to your account. Every single time you hit the requirements, you get paid real money. And they make the process so easy that you can cash out that money into your PayPal or even gift cards. And yes, it is completely free to use. Now, there are some options where you can spend a little cheese to get through the level faster, but you don't need to do that. The reason why this is even possible is because these games are trying to get new players onto their platform. So they pay free cash to pay you to get people to play the game. Now, I know I showed you a crazy example of somebody making up to $1,000, which it's possible, but realistically, it might take some time. This is just an easy way you can make an extra 10, maybe 20 bucks, just doing something that you guys probably do for free anyway. So if you're gonna be bullshitting on your phone playing games, why not get paid? So if you've been on the fence, this is your sign. Click the link in my description and try out a few games. And when you make your money, take a screenshot and send it to me, bro, because I want to see y'all make that cheese. Because if I'm winning, I want to make sure y'all winning too. I love y'all. Y'all know what to do. Link in the description, and you're gonna get a $5 bonus using my shit. Now let's get right back to the video. Where you at, family?
asked, and
God
so it
damn.
turned physical. They supposedly beat the person until he passed and tried to dissolve the body in the drain cleaner. Some vile stuff. When they came
my
back
God.
some days later, according to one of the killers, it stank and was bluish. So they cut the body into pieces. They tried to burn it, but eventually decided to scatter the remainings in the park. In
Yeah, these niggas didn't know what the hell they were doing. They just got lucky. Oh my God.
June 2013, 2 of the 4 suspects were convicted and received sentences of 20 years. A third suspect
20 years, that's it? Why aren't they not facing life in prison?
was convicted to 23 years since she went on the run after appearing in court for only 1 day. You've gotta be crazy if you're trying to run from this case. Now the real question is actually, why were there multiple notes saying I am Kira? Well, it turns out they were just really big fans of the manga and anime, and so they decided to leave them there. And they didn't even
Gave these niggas way too much credit, bruh. These niggas are bums. Amateurs. You could never be Kira. Kira would be actually disappointed. Very pissed off.
spell the sentence correctly. They wrote Watashi wa Kira desu, but it's supposed to be Watashi wa Kira desu. I'm no Japanese bro though, so I'm just repeating what my sources say.
Our young generation is clearly lost.
2015, Japan. Mayu Tomita is 20 years old, studying business and pursuing her passion in the entertainment industry. She has already made a small name for herself by appearing in the TV drama Secret Girls, which was
Nice.
basically a show about these girls living a secret double life as a Japanese idol group. Kinda like Batman, but with more singing and less fighting crime, I think. But after doing a few side gigs here and there, she decided to become an independent artist and musician. In order to gain popularity, since she was still pretty underground, she traveled to different restaurants and venues to play her songs. During these shows, she slowly builds up her following and meets a ton of new people, including Tomohiro Iwasaki. He's around 26 when he first discovers her. He is essentially the polar opposite of Tomita. Her professors describe Tomita as having this very bubbly personality and being very kind and outgoing in general. Iwasaki, on the other hand, has basically isolated himself for the past years. He barely has any friends or social interactions in general. He's like the role model of 4chan users.
This is like the anime love story, like every other one. The super bubbly girl who's super optimistic, cute, lovey-dovey, and then just the loner nigga that doesn't really have any friends, but when he looks at her, he kind of gives you one of these. He's like, huh? Oh. Like she's the only one that makes him happy, make him feel something.
His brother described him as unskilled in expressing his emotions, but also a gentle and childlike soul. From the first time he saw her, Iwasaki really liked Tomita.
See what I'm talking about? This is he gonna look at her and be like, oh.
And she wouldn't be the first person he would later become absolutely obsessed with. The thing is, Iwasaki had a history of stalking idols and documenting their every move on his blog, where he would share all his thoughts and feelings. And he was a very passionate individual.
So he never actually met?
To a point where multiple police reports would be filed against him for following idols in real life and sending them threats. But the worst crime would have yet to come. Like with all the
thought he was kind of cool. I didn't know he was a fucking weirdo. I thought you said he was gentle-hearted.
Other Japanese idols, Iwasaki quickly became infatuated with Tomita. He would start off as a passionate fan of her and her work, giving her chocolates and little gifts after her performances, which could still be seen as quite normal. I mean, fans give stuff to their idols or role models all the time. But as time went on, he became more and more obsessed. In 2016, after giving her various gifts ranging from flowers to weird-ass books, he built up this fantasy that they're gonna become a thing somehow. I mean, he gave her so many cool things, right? So Iwasaki would decide to propose to her in the restaurant she would perform at that night, with his biggest gift yet, a very expensive gold watch, along with random books. So
how's he getting the money for this?
So far, Tomita has been quite nice to him, accepting his gifts and all that, but she obviously couldn't marry this guy. They never even talked outside of her performing, so she rejected him, but she gave him his Twitter so he could check out what she was doing more often, and somehow that seemed to satisfy Iwasaki. Although he was like very isolated from everyone essentially.
Hell no, I ain't gonna lie, that was a big red flag that she just overlooked, gang. Random stranger proposes to you. That if all the gifts weren't sending red flags to her brain, that should have been it right there. Yo, this nigga just proposed to me, gang. Yo, don't let him into the shows no more. Don't let him nowhere near me. Hey, security. I'm giving a picture to security and everything. Don't let him in the venues no more.
And seemed like the perfect guy to run a Discord server. He actually only used Ameba. I don't know how to pronounce it, to be honest. A Japanese social networking and blogging platform. So getting access to her Twitter seemed like something very intimate to him, although it definitely wasn't. And so he followed Tomita and a friend of hers, who also performed that night he proposed. Right away, this guy started tweeting like crazy. I'm talking dozens of tweets in a day. Also his idol and her friend. By now, Tomita was more than creeped out and knew that if she actually responded to him, she would only feed more into Iwasaki's fantasies. So she just straight up ignored him. Her friend though initially replied to Iwasaki, since she probably didn't know that he literally attended almost every single one of Tomita's concerts and was just a creep in general. But even she stopped talking to him after a while, and being ignored for all that time kind of flipped a switch in him, which made his love for Mayu Tomita turn into hatred. He proceeded to spam her Twitter with over 400 messages telling her that she's looking down on him, that she's ungrateful, and he even threatened her life. In order to bring an end to all this, she decided to return the expensive watch he gave her and blocked him on Twitter at the end of April. That would be 12 days before the attack. On the 9th of May 2016, Tomita decided to file a police report against him since she did not feel safe at all. The police didn't
you should have been did that, love.
really do anything though, since it did not fall under Japan's stalking laws back in the day, and they didn't think that harassment on social media was a serious enough threat. Police really was on demon timing. They did not care at all. At this point, Iwasaki has gone absolutely mental. Because Tomita blocked him, he spam messaged her friends on Twitter, demanding all of the gifts back now. The chocolate, the weird books,
nigga wanted his chocolate back. Hey, sorry. That shit been in the upside down, gang.
Flowers, he wanted all of that back. Brody, how do you expect chocolate to be returned? But what can you actually expect from a guy like him? Even though this was a very stressful time for Tomita and all her loved ones, she had to keep it pushing. She was trying to make it as a singer after all. So on May 21st, she was set to perform at an event called Solid Girls Night Volume 11. She publicly announced that she would be there, so she was obviously kinda scared that Iwasaki might pull up, and her worst nightmare became a reality. Before she could even enter the venue, Iwasaki confronted Tomita and asked her why she returned all of the gifts. Tomita was obviously frightened as a and gave a vague answer before trying to run away. When she turned around, Iwasaki stabbed her from behind in the
What?
chest and neck area 61 times.
61 times? That's a different level of hate, man. Yo, 61 times, gang? That's blackout. Like, I'm just on some psycho shit. You're not even at that point. Like, she was dead at 5, nigga. 61 times? Holy shit.
With a 3.1-inch knife. He allegedly screamed, "You should die, die," while doing that. Eyewitnesses immediately called the police after hearing Tomita scream for help and arrested Iwasaki. You can see in the pictures, this guy doesn't seem to feel any type of remorse or shock at all. This is a genuine psychopath, bro. Tomita was in critical condition.
She survived? God bless her soul. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I said Lord's name in vain. Oh my gosh.
But God knows how, Iwasaki didn't manage to damage any vital organs, so she managed to survive and regain consciousness on June 7, 2016. She lived. Unfortunately though, her dream of becoming a popular singer has been destroyed.
No. Oh my God, bro. This is so fucking sad.
And she had problems even talking or using her hands. She also suffered from PTSD, so imagine going on stage with that. The police later on issued an apology for not doing anything when she was literally begging.
An apology? Bitch, I'm suing the fuck out of all you niggas. Suing niggas into oblivion, nigga.
For help, saying that they didn't know that the harassment was happening
Didn't
outside
know.
of social
I
media as
told
well.
you.
Iwasaki only received 14 years, but it actually led to Japan changing their anti-stalking laws to include online.
All right, I know I'm pausing a lot, but let me just... I did not... What the fuck? Did I just hear that he only received 14 years? Is that what I just heard? Let's replay that.
Issued an apology for not doing anything when she was literally begging for help, saying that they didn't know that the harassment was happening outside of social media as well. Iwasaki only received 14 years.
Attempted murder only gives me 14 years. This nigga needs to rot in prison. Hell no. That's insane. What the hell is going on? Didn't we just hear with a weak ass sentence with the last one too? 20 years, 14 years. People are getting hurt. Let these people rot, gang.
But it actually led to Japan
This shit
changing
pissing
their
me off,
anti-stalking laws to include online harassment on social media as well. So there was at least something positive coming out of this. Now this was an insane case of obsession, but this next case had even more casualties.
Our young generation is clearly lost.
Kyoto Animations is one of the greatest animation studios in Japan. It was the main publisher of a ton of insane animes, including K-On!, A Silent Voice, Free,
I like that one.
and a bunch more. The company has multiple locations throughout Japan, but this story is about Studio One, the building actually dedicated to the animation side of things. It's 2018 and Kyoto Animation suddenly experiences an influx of hate messages. It starts off as threats and slander, but as time goes on, the messages develop into threats, even mentioning specific staff that are working for Kyoto Animation. This whole thing escalates to the point that in October of 2018, the company went to the police to investigate. The Kyoto police tried to find out who was behind these, at this point, hundreds of death threats, but couldn't pinpoint any person, as the creator used Tor to hide their information, kind of like the dark web type of alley. And so the police just kind of gave up. I mean, they're just empty threats after all, right? This would be the potential foreshadowing to one of the most tragic things happening in the anime industry ever.
I think I low-key got a whim of this at some point. I don't know if I was reacting to another video, but it's starting to feel a little bit familiar. I'm not going to spoil it though.
Shinji Aoba, 41 at the time, was staying at an internet cafe on July 16. According to eyewitnesses, he was seen walking around the area close to the animation studio, kinda just cooking up his plan, I guess. 2 days later, on the morning of July the 18th, Aoba walks into the studio. carrying 11 gallons of gasoline. He basically soaks the entire area, including several employees, before igniting it. He sets multiple employees on including him during the process. Right away, the fire results in an explosion at around 10:31 a.m. due to the gasoline mixing with the air or something. I'm not a chemist. And Aoba supposedly screams "die" repeatedly as he carries out his act. The fire grows by the entrance, as Aoba just walked in there, and it traps the entire staff inside the building. Some workers try to escape through the second and third floors, but the explosion caused the floors to be filled with smoke within 30 seconds, making escape almost impossible. 5 hours later and the fire is under control, but it's only extinguished the next day at 6 a.m. The building had no fire sprinklers or anything due to it being classified as a small office building, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, we need all buildings to have sprinklers, gang. What the hell?
Now, before I talk about the aftermath of all of this, which is absolutely insane, why did Shinji Aoba do all this?
Yeah.
Did he not like the anime they produced? Was he just batshit crazy? Well, as I already said,
Both.
he lit himself on too during the process, so he had to be rushed to the hospital with severe.
He survived. This is the shit that be pissing me off, bro. Especially with shit like this. Look at this bitch ass nigga, first of all. Look at his bitch ass face. Holy shit. Nigga, you go, oh my god, nigga. Pissing me off. I'm getting in trouble for what I'm gonna say, boy. But niggas will do heinous ass shit like this and then they survive, gang. They survive. That shit be like, what? That's the shit that be blowing me, gang.
Severe burns. While being transported there, he admitted to having started the fire, and he actually admitted doing it because of plagiarism. You heard me right?
What?
Because of plagiarism. He accused the studio of stealing ideas from his novel. Aoba had
Sue, bro. Take the legal route. Get your cheese. Why did you do this? And just let's just say the studio plagiarized. Those people in there are innocent, man. They just doing their fucking job. Niggas are so dumb.
submitted a draft novel to the studio, but it didn't even pass the first stage of assessment and was forgotten. But he was still convinced that they stole stuff from his work. Now let me just read out the scenes that were supposedly stolen. His main accusation was that in the anime Tsurune, there's a character in episode 5 who buys meat at a 20% discount. And his novel also happened to have a scene where the hero buys something at a 50% discount.
So it's not even the same number of discount. Nigga, so what? They stole your meats. They stole your meat fucking buying scene. Did One Punch Man steal it too? That nigga goes to the grocery store for discounts every fucking every season. He's always going to the grocery store to get some discounts on some groceries. They stole your idea too? Come on, man. That's literally like saying anime steal from each other because the main character is like a little bit delusional and dumb. Goku, Naruto, Luffy. Naruto's not like dumb, but he's immature, especially like the younger versions. That's like every anime trope ever. You're not the only fucking anime where they go grocery shopping in the anime, bro. Holy, this guy's an idiot.
That's it. Now there are also some other scenes that were supposedly stolen. So in the anime Free, right, there's a scene where a school banner reads "Swimming Club advanced to regional tournament." Aoba's novel apparently included a few scenes where banners appear too. This guy's not serious. And the last one is where a character in K-On! Says to a junior, "I repeated a grade." And in Aoba's story there's a scene where a high school boy is told by his teacher, "If you continue like this, you'll repeat the grade." Those were all the scenes that were apparently plagiarized. It's not like they happen to have the exact same concepts in terms of story or have very similar characters. They happen to have similar scenes, but they were
Similar dialogue, and this nigga went and ruined and ended lives. Wow. How long did he sit in jail?
completely different
Let's find
animes.
out.
The amount of times an anime girl punches a guy in the face, animation studios would be accused of plagiarism all the time.
That's
So
what I'm
let's talk
saying.
about the disaster he actually created. 70 people were inside the studio at the time of the fire. 36 employees, most of them almost
Oh my
instantly because
God.
of the severe burns, and some of them because
Rest
of the
in
carbon
peace,
monoxide
bro.
a couple days later.
Rest in peace, gang.
Among some of the deceased were Naomi Ishida, a color designer who has worked for the company since 1992. She was the first victim who was identified as. Also Yasuhiro Takemoto, who was an animator, scriptwriter, and director. in the fire. He's worked at Kyoto Animation for almost his entire career. And Yoshiji Kigami, a giant in the industry, a veteran who has worked on films like Akira and Studio Ghibli's Grave of the Fireflies. The world of anime and Japan.
Grave of the Fireflies is such a sad anime. Oh my god. Really good though. If you're into like sentimental, sad, deeper meaning animes and you know, more of a old school traditional style, definitely go check that out. It's a really good one.
Lost so many important people that day because of this man. This event was one of the deadliest massacres in Japan since the end of World War II. Now Aoba was transferred to a university hospital and he received all the necessary surgery to survive. After 4 months of recovery,
Man, let that nigga, come on, bro. You already, I'm not even gonna say too much. Y'all already know what I'm thinking.
He was able to talk and wasn't in critical condition anymore. He got artificial skin and the whole package. After recovering, he said that he regretted his actions and was thankful for the staff, who treated him better than anyone has ever before. Could have thought about that before doing that, big bro. On December 16th, he was charged with attempted and a bunch of other things. And it turns out the novel might have just set off this behavior, but wasn't actually the cause of it, since Aoba had a prior criminal history and suffered from mental illness. In 2012, for example, he robbed a convenience store with a knife and was jailed for 3.5 years. And he did that just because, I guess. This whole court thing takes quite a while, but in January of 2024, he was finally sentenced and he received the death penalty.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes! Yes! Fuck I'm talking about.
Which he accepted. Pretty crazy if you think about it. They saved his life and proceeded to do surgery on him for months just to give him the death sentence. But I digress. After the attack, some of the employees who were involved in this tragedy,
you know, I just don't fuck with this nigga. But you know, in actuality, I actually don't really believe in the death penalty. I just feel like it's I feel like it's an easier way out. But I know the debate is like, I guess for me, my type of personality, the thought of sitting in prison for the rest of my life is so like, that would be torture, like torture to my brain. I am confined to these walls and I can't live out my dreams and do what I want to do and make an impact in this world. That sounds like living hell. So I feel like almost like the death penalty would be an easier way out for me if I was like a crazy criminal. But, you know, I was having this debate with one of my friends and they were saying how the thing is, though, for some people, like if you get to the point where you're doing life in prison, you can kind of just, at some point you might be able to accept, like, this is my life. And you wouldn't necessarily, like, obviously you would know there's an outside world, but you could get used to the fact that, like, you're doing life in prison and then it doesn't necessarily have to be that miserable, you know? So I guess that's where the death penalty can feel more like, okay, no, your days are numbered, nigga. Like, you're going to, like, you know, the day you're going to leave this earth. Like, that's probably a scary ass feeling too. So I don't know. What do y'all think about the death penalty? Y'all support that, or you feel like people should just sit and rot in these cells?
returned to work at the other location of Kyoto Animation, but obviously some of them took extended breaks to deal with the stress and trauma, and the building was demolished.
Our young generation is clearly lost.
It's 4 p.m. The police in Tokyo receive a call that a man has been Once they arrive at the scene, they find a person seated on the floor. It's an attractive young woman sitting in the lobby of her building, but her legs and hands are covered in blood. She's sitting next to the man who's slowly out, literally just chilling with a phone in her hand. That woman was Yuka Takaoka. When all of this happened, Takaoka was a manager at a hostess club. A hostess club is basically a place Japanese men go to get their ego stroked. They go in, the girls working there pretend like they're the king of the world and make them buy drinks and spend money. There's also some spicy stuff going on behind the scenes, but most of the time it's really just talking and drinking. Imagine feeling like Justin Bieber in his prime, but you just pay for that feeling instead.
What? Wow, I ain't gonna lie. This is a different level of, like, I don't know how anyone can enjoy this. You go in there and you pay people to be nice to you. Like, you're paying for supreme customer service and conversation. It just feels so disingenuous. I don't think I could, like, trick myself into thinking that this is a good time.
Takaoka's job was kinda just overseeing the place and trying to milk out as much money out of these men as possible. Now on the side, Takaoka was also a huge anime fan. Who would have thought? Whole videos about otakus. She would do the typical thing of cosplaying characters and stuff like that. Nothing out of the ordinary. There was one type of character though she seemed to cosplay the most. Yanderes. If you're chronically online, you know what
Yanderes.
those are, but if not, yanderes are basically these girls in animes, or I guess also in real life, who are overly in love with somebody. Like that next level stuff. Anybody who gets near their crush gets stabbed and they become all crazy. That's like the whole story of the game Yandere Simulator, right? You're this girl who everybody and anything who stands in the way of your love. Now let's get back to the hostess club. Those are designed for Japanese men to talk to women, but there's also the female counterpart, host clubs. Women go there to just forget about reality and talk to young men. And in one of those host clubs, Phoenix Luna had just started working there as a host to make a living. It's obviously not his real name though. Even though he just started out, he actually managed to do pretty decently as a host. He was number 4 and for quite some time number 3 in terms of popularity, which didn't result in a lot of money, but it was enough to survive, since he was also able to sleep there. He just kinda had that nice look to him. I mean, he's not an ugly guy, no did he? So one night, Yuka Takaoka decided that work was pretty draining as a manager. So she just wanted to relax a little and get some male attention. And so
Is this her actual footage?
went to a Fusion nightclub,
Is she
the host
doing?
club where Luna worked at. Now it was just something about this guy that caught Takaoka's attention, and so she chose him to entertain her for the night. She spends some money, has a pleasant night, and then goes home. As transactional as it gets basically. It's like somebody subbing to a big streamer. They get
So the guys would actually do this for women as well. Interesting.
$5 and you get to see your name on the screen for a split second. But Takaoka just keeps thinking about this man, so she decides to return to the club over and over again. You gotta know, for the past years, Takaoka has only been focusing on stacking her bread. So she has some money to spend, at least for a while. So she goes in there and buys champagne after champagne. And the person who kind of makes her buy those drinks earns a commission, right? So Phoenix Luna is pretty happy about making more money. After a while, Takaoka
Win-win.
notices that Luna is only ranked 4 on the leaderboard. And so she decides to spend even more money on him to get him up those ranks. And
Oh my
I'm not
God.
talking about a few $100s here and there. She spent up to 10k a month on Luna, which got him to rank 1 on the leaderboard within a
Ooh.
month. They spend so much time together that Takaoka builds up this fantasy that if she just keeps spending money on him, he would eventually be able to quit his job and they could be a couple. Some down bad fantasy right there.
Oh shit. Hold on. Lord, I've seen what you've done for others. I'm playing. Let me lock in.
This delusion escalated to a point where she would pay him to go on dates with her and paid extra money so she could reserve him every time she visited the club. Now Luna obviously kind of plays along since he's making decent money at this point, and it's kind of the job of somebody working there to be like a pretend boyfriend. And Takaoka would kind of know that since she literally works in the industry herself, but I guess if you got those pink glasses on, you can't be stopped. She proceeded to rent a whole apartment near Luna's club so they can move in
Yo, this girl was going dumb. Wow.
together, and I guess Luna kind of agreed to live there a part-time. This is the part where she actually turns full on yandere herself. She gets so jealous of his work that she tells him that every time he meets a woman who's paying for his services, if you know what I mean, he should call and tell her. Remember, this man is not in a relationship with Takaoka at all. She's just paying him to pretend. Imagine a tier 3 sub tells Pokimane that she can't get in a relationship because he's her biggest fan.
Ain't funny.
But Luna kind of plays along because he's a sweet guy, and so he agrees
He wants that money, man. Let's just keep it a stack. Let's not fucking beat around the bush. He's like, hold on. How much, man? Keep that shit coming in. I need it.
to do so. On May 23rd, 2019, Luna calls Takaoka and tells her, hey, I'm meeting with another woman, strictly business, you know what I'm saying? Just wanted to let you know, even though this is literally the exact thing she told him to do, Takaoka goes mad. So mad that she makes up a plan to self-exit. But she's also like, if she's
What?
going to, might as well take him with me so they can be happy in the afterlife. Kind of like
What?
Romeo and Juliet type of story. All
Oh no, you got me. Do what you want for you, bitch. But leave me out of it, all right?
This time, Luna obviously said I love you and stuff like that to her, but even she knew that he just did that because he got paid to do so. And in her head, if they both passed, his statements might become a reality. So she pretends like she didn't just come up with the most twisted, evil plan ever and tells him to go over to their apartment so he can help her clean the place. After they do that, and also for some change, he takes a bath to just kind of unwind and relax. While he's taking a nap, Takaoka decides to snoop through his phone and finds pictures of another woman at the nightclub with him. Those weren't even explicit or anything, just photos that align with his work, right? Luna steps out of the tub to go to sleep in the actual bed of the apartment, and it's all good. That night, Takaoka waits until about 3:50 a.m. to ensure he's really asleep. She takes out a knife and stabs him in his stomach. He obviously instantly wakes up, shocked that he literally has something in his body, and before being able to push her away, Takaoka sits on top of him, asking him if he really liked her.
Do I really like you? There's a knife in my fucking stomach. I hate you. I despise you. What? Oh my God. This is crazy.
I think in this situation, every guy would do the same thing, and he just tells her, I love you, and then
No, I'm pulling this shit out and I'm yang. Got me fucked up. Even though I'll probably bleed out if I did that though. But I ain't gonna lie, she gonna feel me. Ain't no way.
Pushes her to the side. He runs towards the elevator to try to get out of the building ASAP. And Takaoka follows him after grabbing some things.
Oh my God, is this really her picture? She looks so scary.
Luna loses consciousness though. And so Takaoka literally drags his body to the lobby of their residence and just sits next to him, waiting for him to die. Now a random woman just walks by and sees all of this and is shocked to her core. First thing you gotta do is obviously take a picture, and then she calls the police. In the picture you can see Takaoka on her phone talking to God knows who without a care in the world.
Is this a real picture?
Nobody does anything to stop her though, since they don't know what she's actually capable of. I mean, I would definitely not go near a girl sitting next to a grown man who's slowly acting like everything is sunshine and rainbows. And that brings us back to the beginning. Police arrive and arrest her, and she actually doesn't put up any sort of fight. While she's in the police car, you can literally see her smiling, like she enjoyed that stuff. Now comes probably the most obscure thing ever. Following this attack, Takaoka basically builds a huge following because she's somewhat attractive. Like, what? It's like the guy who ran over who ended up getting like edits made of him. She got fan art. People described her as too beautiful to be criminal and all of that. In December of 2019, she got 3.5 years in prison for attempted.
Why do they keep giving these light sentences? What's going on in Japan with that? Is that a normal thing? Is this still like how they be handling most of these situations? 3.5 years for attempted murder, gang? I had a whole metal in my stomach. Pause. But literally, blade in belly. Bleeding. Unconscious. On ground. Is my life mean nothing to you? She needs to do more time.
Only 3 years for all of that. The good side is Luna was able to recover from his heavy injuries. He regained consciousness 5 days after the attack, even though the doctor said that he only had a 20% chance of surviving. But obviously he wasn't able to talk, eat, walk, or do anything essentially for quite some time. But after recovering from all that, as far as I know, he actually came back to the industry. He still works in the same host bar, but it's like way more popular now since everybody knows his story. The one downside is that his liver doesn't work anymore, and so he can't drink alcohol.
The one downside, holy shit.
But he can probably live with that. And this guy's some kind of saint. Luna agreed to do an interview with some reporters, right? And he literally said that he fully forgives her for what she did. This guy's like an angel or something.
Wow. Hey man, that's insane. Guys, we made it about halfway through this, so obviously I will always link the original video in the description, but if you guys want me to make a part 2 and finish it out, I will do so. Man, I love y'all, appreciate y'all. Where you at, family? Man, how strange would you get for some change?
Where you at, Berto?
I made this shit look too easy.